All right, so a few people have asked me questions regarding, this is number 4, I believe, and it might even be another one. I think number 5 has data as well. This is hypothesis testing using the t-distribution. And they don't summarize the data for you. What they do is they just give you a data table, like for this question here regarding the average number of meals that people have had in restaurants. So they, instead of saying, hey, there was 50 pieces of data, and here's the sample mean, and here's the standard deviation, perform the hypothesis test. Instead, it says, oh, we performed the survey, and here's the data. When you click on this little icon right here, let's let it load. There it is. Here's the data set, and it looks like there's about 20 pieces of data here. So if you want to perform the hypothesis test using this data, you need to know, number one, how many pieces of data we have. All right, looks like there's 20. You need to know what's the sample standard deviation, because they're saying the population standard deviation here is 207. All right, so what did this provide? All right, and then also you need to know the standard deviation. Now, if you calculate a standard deviation based on this data right here, that'll be a sample standard deviation. And remember, when you have a sample standard deviation, you need to use the t-distribution. So this is going to be a hypothesis test using the t-distribution. So this little icon right here, you click it, gives you an option to copy the data. So I'm going to click copy table to clipboard. And it says, okay, great, you did it. So you come over here to Minitab, and be careful because this first row right here, it's reserved for the name of the column. So like this, I believe, is meals. And you can paste this data right in. So now you could actually perform the hypothesis test. Now typically, to perform the hypothesis test, you would go up here to inference, choose one sample t, and typically we would pull down this menu right here and select summarize data. We don't have the summarized data. You can summarize it, of course. I created a video on how to calculate the descriptive statistics earlier in the course. So if you want, you could just crunch all the descriptive stats and change this option right here and input the descriptive statistics. The only thing is, they have an option for this. It'll take the data, it'll do that for you. So you just leave sample data in a column. Yeah, it's right here. And then it wants to know, all right, well, where is it? Where's your data? Well, here's C1 meals. Double click it, and it pops it right in there. So in other words, perform a hypothesis test. It's saying, go get the data. It's in this column right here. The hypothesized mean is 207. That's given in the question, obviously. Right now it says the population mean number of meals in 2001 is equal to 207. And I believe it says different than, for this question, for the alternative. Let's just see. It says, test the hypothesis that the number of meals eaten at restaurants by people in this country has not changed. All right, so we'll use a not equal to scenario there. So you go to options. Here's the alternative, not equal to. There's the confidence level. Everything's all set up. So all you need to say is okay. And as you can see, let me close this stuff out here so we could compare, because I got the answer up here. So as you can see, the output from Minitab, here's the known alternative hypotheses. Here's the confidence interval calculation, the t-statistic, which is your testing statistic, and the p-value. Negative 0.05 is your testing statistic. And here it is here. This is a solved problem, obviously. I just click show me the answer. So negative 0.05 in Minitab, it's in the formula. And then the p-value is here, 0.9579. And obviously that's greater than alpha. Alpha was 5% for this question. So when your p-value is bigger than alpha, you fail to reject the null hypothesis. Or, of course, you can look up the critical values. So the critical values, which are negative 2.093 and positive 2.093, you would get from the t-distribution table. And they give you a copy of the t-table right here. So you just have to click on that and open it up and look it up. And then, of course, I personally would use the template that I have created for you, because the template lays this out for you. But that's, that's up to you. I'll leave, whether you decide to use the template or not for something like this. That's purely up to you. I think it's a great idea too, though. This same scenario can be done in the TI graphing calculator. You can put this data in list number 1, for instance, in your calculator, and tell the TI calculator to do the t-test. And it will crunch all these statistics for you, just like this, using the data, where you don't even have to summarize it. Now, of course, in the summary tab right here, you could calculate the descriptive statistics. And you could say, give me the stats. This is an optional. Data's in a column. Yeah, it's in the meals column. And then say, okay. And what it does is it'll give you all the stats. So in other words, here's the number of data values, 20. There's the standard deviation. That's S, the sample standard deviation, 83.58. Where's the mean? Here it is, 206. So there's your X bar. And then those are your summary statistics. And when you go to inference right here, and you choose one sample T, of course you have the option of, instead of saying, hey, my data's in a column, I got to summarize data. You can do it either way. It's just that obviously keeping it in a column is faster and just letting Minitab crunch the stats for you. Right.